When I first started homeschooling, I was super excited to get my first curriculum. I loved opening that book, seeing all the pretty pages, smelling all the fresh print smell, and seeing that grid there that was gonna show me everything that we needed to do every single day for our homeschool. So the grid planner is what's super common with most curriculums that you're gonna buy or most planners that you're going to get, right? But what I found was that if we got off on a certain day, whether it was the whole day or maybe it was one or two books that we didn't get to, then my whole entire grid was off. And I would just feel super overwhelmed and I couldn't get back on track. And do you know that feeling? Do you know what I'm talking about when that grid is just off and you feel overwhelmed, you feel discouraged that you can't keep up with the curriculum and then you just want to quit and not do homeschool ever again? Did you ever have that feeling? I had those feelings when I was first starting to homeschool. Now, yes, my kids were little, and when your kids are maybe 6, 7 years old and under, you don't need to be super, super strict with any type of curriculum that you have. I do have a video on how I do preschool and kindergarten if you want to watch that. And I also probably could have worked on consistency though myself, like just picking up where we left off or making some changes and adapting the curriculum as we went, which I did do. But it still was just not fun to see a grid that wasn't finished and I was off of. And I have made a video on talking about being more consistent in my homeschool since my kids have gotten older, and I've realized a lot of mistakes that I've made when it comes to consistency when my kids were younger. I know when it comes to homeschool curriculum, I needed a framework. I needed something that gave us a direction that we were headed, that gave us a little bit of boundaries, where to go, what type of history time period we're studying or what type of math we're doing. I know I needed a framework, but I needed a flexibility within the framework. And I felt like having a grid curriculum just didn't give me that. Also, with a lot of those grid curriculums, I didn't love all the book choices. And you know, that's just me. I liked some of them and I didn't like some of them. And I know that a lot of these curriculum companies tell you just to choose and do what works best for your family. But I know some of you just think, oh, it says it on the schedule, we need to be reading this, right? But I didn't love all the curriculum books they picked, and I wanted to read other books. There were some other books I wanted to read instead of what they said and told me to read. So here's what happened. A few years ago, I asked my husband to make me a planner. I said, this is what I need. I need something that is month to month, that I can change the books as we go, or I can plan ahead and have them ready to go, but maybe they go in a different month instead because December just became, you know, throw up of Christmas everywhere. So I needed something that was month to month and that was adaptable, that I could either adapt to a curriculum that I was using. Even though I got off of that curriculum's grid, I could make my own plan and use the books that they had suggested at our own pace. So yes, I needed to adapt as we go. You know, we have things that come up, appointments that come up, kids that have sick days, moms that have sick days, and weeks where we're just reading, you know, 20 chapters at one time instead of just 2. We just needed something that we could adapt as we go. But I still needed something that was keeping me accountable and making sure that I wasn't letting too many things slip either. Having too much flexibility and no framework and having too much structure, neither of those were working for me. So I needed something that was right in the middle, that had the framework, but we had some adaptability that was able to adapt as we go. So today I'm introducing to you the Living Books Homeschool Planner. Planter? Let's try that again. That doesn't say planter. Okay. So today I'm introducing to you a Living Books Homeschool Planner. This is a downloadable, printable planner that you can use for your own family and adapt it to whatever curriculum you're using, or you can pick your own books and make your own plan for your homeschool year. I'm going to show you what's included in this planner. I'm going to do a flip through as well, and you're going to find out who this planner is for and maybe who it's not for. I'm not going to do a complete step-by-step on how you could use this. I want to go more in detail on this in another video, so be sure to subscribe if you want to catch that video when that comes out next. All right, here we go. So let's look inside the Living Books Homeschool Planner. So here it is, the Living Books Homeschool Planner. This is a printable download, so when you order it, you're just going to get the file and you will be printing it yourself. Or you can send it to Staples and have it get printed there, and they can even bind it for you. So I haven't bound mine yet. My binder comes today from Amazon Prime, but you're gonna see what is inside and what it looks like. So here's your cover. And then we start with a brainstorm page. So this is especially helpful if you are planning your own curriculum and you are picking from all the different book lists, and you can just start writing down all the book lists you want to choose from, or all the time periods you want to do, or topics you want to cover, or the curriculum that you're going to be using. And then just, this is your page to mark up. Make it look beautiful if you want, or make it not look beautiful. Just mark it up. And then there's other ways to brainstorm. Oh, I have this backwards. There we go. So this is the second brainstorming section where you have 4 sections on each page. And you can start organizing the books by either child, like maybe you put each child's books for the year in each box, or for each quarter. So what I would do is have 1 page for my children and 1 page for each like quarter or term that we have during the year. So there's another brainstorm page there. Then we come to your reading record. And there's 2 ways to do this. You can do this family style, where you just keep track of all the books you're reading together as a family or with all the kids, or you can print out extras of these and make it for individual kids and have their own reading record. And these are the books that you actually read. So you know what I mean? Like back here, we can do all the planning and prepping that we want, but eventually you may not get to all the books that you plan to read, or maybe you read more books than you had planned, or maybe you read different books. So this is your actual reading record of what you actually read over the year. But I like to put the title and the author, the date started, and the date finished. And for me, I'm going to keep this record possibly for just our family, like for everybody, like what are we all reading throughout the year. Then I like to include an attendance tracker. Some people need this to keep track of numbers and days of school for your state. So this is the attendance tracker that we made. And then you come to your monthly reading trackers, and you're going to get a page like this for each month. Now I do this, it's broken up by month and by week. So I haven't broken these up by day. I'll show you later how you can do that. But for me, I like to go off of just a running list, and we have it broken up by week. So I would show you how I would do this here. So most months have 4 weeks. Some, give or take, go into the next month, but I have it broken up by 4 weeks. And I would break it up by each child. And then I would write in our read alouds. So RA for read alouds. And sometimes we have more than 1 read aloud, and we actually do right now. So, or like maybe you have the actual reader, and then you have an audiobook that you're doing. That's kind of how our family does it right now. I do know we are reading and listening to The Trumpet of the Swan. So let's write that down. And my husband is doing, at bedtime, we're doing Eric Liddell. I think that's how you spell it. You know what, guys? I just realized that I wrote it on week 1. Technically, this would all go down here because we are on week 3 of July. So I wrote it on the wrong week, but you get the point here. So at the beginning of each month, we would go in and fill in our read alouds, and usually our read alouds kind of stay the same throughout the whole month. All right, so there we have it, a whole month worth of read alouds. Now, if you notice, I am not writing down chapters or page numbers. If that is your thing, go for it. But for us, it's really just read the next thing. And for me and my style of homeschool and just my brain style, it is just too much to keep track of for me. So we just write down the books in general, and then we just read. And then you would fill in your kids' books that they are supposed to be reading. And if they're reading on their own, that's where you would write these books down. But if you're maybe reading with them, you can write those books down as well. So for example, my Mr. C is a 3rd grader this year, and he reads some on his own, and I do still read to him as well, or with him. Same with my Mr. A, actually. So I am going to be doing some buddy reading with him this year, but he also will have his own audiobooks that he listens to. Miss E is a great reader and does everything on her own just fine. So what's coming up for these kiddos, we're going to be reading The Lord of the Rings. So my 7th grader and my 5th grader, who are Form 2 for Charlotte Mason, are gonna be reading The Fellowship of the Ring this year. They'll be doing the literature guide for this from Where Did You Learn That? And I'm super excited for that. Miss E and Mr. A are gonna be doing The Fellowship of the Ring. So then when my kids make their weekly checklist, I will refer to this and remember the notes that I've planned, which books they are doing, and then they get their weekly checklist and we'll go off of what I wrote here for the month. And then we can fill in a few others here. So for example, my oldest is gonna be doing Augustus Caesar's World. She's gonna be reading Augustus Caesar's World by Genevieve Foster. Oh, I'm so excited for this. I will probably read it along with her because I've just been wanting to read these books and she's finally old enough to get it. So Augustus, how do you spell that? Caesar. Okay, Augustus Caesar's World. This will be her own reading, and she'll be doing this for her history for this year. So we've got that. As we go throughout the year, we've got a Beautiful Feet Books Ancient History, and these are going to be our family read-alouds, and we'll be going through each of these, and I'll fill those in into each month in my planner here. And if you'd like to know, these are my favorite utensils for writing in my planner. It is the Pilot G2, and I like the larger ball. I don't like the smaller one. The larger one is my favorite. So I work better with this pen, and this is my favorite mechanical pencil. I have these everywhere around the house. I just write better with larger tips. Some people do the smaller tips, but I like the 0.9, and this is the Bic Velocity pen. I'll link to these in the description below if you want to grab some for yourself. But yeah, these come in fun colors. This is my favorite color right now. So see, kind of matches my planner and my watch band. So yeah, you can tell it's my favorite color right now. By the way, if we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Ashley. I'm a homeschool mom to 3 kiddos. They're going to be 7th grade, 5th grade, and 3rd grade this coming year. I've been doing YouTube channels to help homeschool moms to be encouraged in managing your time and being consistent with homeschool when you feel like you just have a scattered brain. And I love talking about biblically based curriculum and Charlotte Mason inspired homeschool, as well as some affordable homeschool resources. So I'm so glad you're here. Be sure to consider subscribing so you can stick around and join me for this journey. That's what everybody says, but it is kind of how it is on this channel, I guess. Yes, welcome to Joyful Noise Learning, where we try to find the joy among the noise, both in life and in homeschooling. So let's jump in and peek at that planner. The other thing we have, oh, this is so much fun, is the daily routine page. So this can be used however your family needs, but we have a time block spot here, and then you have a slot for each child. And this is gonna be your weekly routine for that week. And you can fill in what they are doing at every time. So for example, you can do like 9 to 12, 12 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, or you can do actual time blocks and then fill in what each child is doing. This helps me to know like which child I'm working with during which time, or you can fill in each subject and what is each child doing for each subject for that week. But that's a nice little routine page to help you just keep track of your time. And then we have the morning time checklist. So I printed this off one for each week. And as you can see here, we have the days at the top. And then we have our daily subjects first. Then comes your memory work, which is usually daily, but not always. We don't always get to everything every day. The goal is every day, but we don't. Then you have your read alouds, and then you have your loop subjects. And I have 2 different versions. If you'd like one that has all these subjects written in already and you can print it off, then I have that version. Or if you would like one that is blank and it doesn't have any of these written in and you fill them in yourself. But you would have one for each week. This you can use as reverse planning. This helps me so much. Or again, you can plan ahead, but you write in what hymn you did that day and then you can check it off. And you can go day by day. This helps me see, okay, I know I see what I did on Monday, but I didn't get to any of that on Tuesday. So on Wednesday, we need to do the things we didn't get to. So again, this is not perfect. You can get it all marked up and make it as messy or keep it as clean as you want. But this is a great resource that has helped me keep on track with what we're doing for all these important subjects here. And again, this is not an individual child checklist. This is for your entire family when you do subjects together, if you are still doing subjects together like we are. And these are the things I've decided to continue to do together. Apart from science, my oldest is doing science on her own. I still do science together with my boys. My oldest is actually technically doing history on her own as well, but I have that there just to remind us to make sure we get it done. And then we come to the next month, and then you fill in your books there, you fill in a daily routine or a weekly routine, and then you go through your checklist for each week, and then you come to the next month. So that is what a basic month looks like. I also have a weekly plan. If you are someone who needs the blocks to fill in for a week, you can print off the weekly plan and fill that out with any details that you need for which books you're reading, when and where and what and how many pages or whatever you need. This is your planner that is flexible for you and for your family. And I want you to feel that you are in control of your children's education and not being slaves to curriculum. And that's really another reason why I made this planner, was to help you feel like you are in control and that you can go at your own pace or your own child's pace and not have to fit into a grid and feel like you're always getting off on that grid. Alrighty, so that's what you're gonna find inside the Living Books Homeschool Planner. So you're probably wondering, who is this planner for? So I feel like this planner is gonna be good for any homeschool mom who enjoys being adaptable and flexible. You're not really stuck on being super structured. Maybe a lot of superstructure scares you and it makes you feel squashed and like overwhelmed and like you have no freedom within anything. So that type of mom. And this is gonna really be helpful for the mom who does feel scattered and is okay with picking your own books. So some of you may be so scattered that you really do need a curriculum to tell you just what to do. And really, I do need to recommend, if this is your first or second, maybe third year homeschooling, it's okay to do a grid curriculum, a curriculum that tells you which books to do when, because really you're just trying to figure this out. So it's not a bad thing to do a curriculum with a good structured plan. But if maybe this isn't your first rodeo and you've been doing this a while and you're just like, I just wanna make it myself, and then this planner would be a great fit for you because you kind of know how it goes. You know what books you guys like, you know what books you don't like, you know what type of living books are just a good joy for your family to read. So this would be great for that homeschool mom who wants to pick her own books and be adaptable. And another thing that the Living Books Homeschool Planner is good for is for the Charlotte Mason inspired homeschool mom, because Charlotte Mason style homeschool is all about the living books. So she is very big on making sure you're reading things that challenge the kids' thinking, that is coming from stories and narration and not just from textbooks. So the Living Books Homeschool Planner helps you organize all those amazing living books that you guys want to read. Because I know there's a lot out there. There's a lot that we want to read. There's the Ambleside online book list. There's other book lists out there that have amazing stories that our kids can dive into. And you can adapt to your child's reading pace. Maybe you have a faster reader and they're gonna read, devour 2 or 3 books in a week. Or maybe you have a slower reader who's only gonna read like half a chapter a day. If you were reading with the grid style planners or homeschool curriculum, then you would get off very quickly if that's what you were following. So this way you can keep track of your kids' pace and not push them too quickly or make them slow down too much. And who this planner is not for. I would say that maybe if you're in a season where you don't have a lot of extra time for creativity in creating your kids' reading schedules, maybe you are in a health crisis right now, or your family is, or maybe you just had a baby, or you're going to have a baby, or maybe you're caring for an elderly parent. When you're in those seasons where you really do need someone to just tell you what to do when, then the grid type homeschool curriculum and planning would be great for you in that season. But so that might not be a good idea to be making your own reading list and planning your own books for your kids to read because maybe you don't have the space or the time for that. Unless that is the one thing that does bring you joy, and it is like a joy for you to be able to pick instead of, feeling like you have chaos all over here in the rest of your life. maybe it is a joy for you in that season to be able to pick and plan your homeschool. You be the judge of that. You know your family best, and you pick what you and your family need for this season. The other homeschool mom that may not enjoy my planner is the mom who loves structure, who really doesn't mind having the grid curriculum. You love a nice grid and you can keep up with it. Like maybe you do enjoy someone telling you what to do when. Maybe you're a little bit opposite of me and you want just a planner that's already laid it out for you. And you maybe are very good at following that checklist and following and staying and being on track. Then this Living Books Homeschool Planner may not be for you. Also, maybe if you're more big into textbooks rather than living books, I do want to remind you all that remember there is no perfect curriculum. There is no perfect planner. We are all just using what we have and working with what we have and making the best of it, right? And sometimes our best may not feel that great and we may feel like we're failing, but we're not failing. You just got to pick up and keep going and try again. And I know this planner is not going to be the answer to all your homeschool problems. I wish it was. I really do wish it was. But I do know that it can be a tool that helps you not let you be a slave to the curriculum. Because I'm really big on that. We don't have to be slaves to curriculum. We can be I was gonna say we can be in control, but you know, we've got to give a lot of that control to the Lord anyway. We aren't always in control and things do happen in our life. We can be flexible and adaptable is what we can be. That's what I want to say, is that this planner can be a tool to help you adapt and to help you be flexible and give what your family needs in this season and in this homeschool year. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions on how this works. I will do a video later on how to do it a little more specifically and give a little more details on how you can print this planner, ways that you can use this. And again, it's completely adaptable for you. Also, if you have any questions about any of the book lists that I love to pick from, I love talking about that with families, with homeschool moms. Let me know in the comments if you have questions about that. And I'll put a link in the description to be able to get this planner so you can have it for yourself and download it and print it off and use it with your homeschool family. Maybe I'll share some other videos on my planning tips and my best time management skills for the scattered homeschool mom. So mamas, if you're feeling scattered, then you're in the right place, and I would love for you to consider subscribing and sticking around and hanging out with me here. So you guys are great. Go find his joy among the noise. I'll see you in the next one.